if it's from like a friend that you trust, you would go to it. But if it's just like you see on the news, go try blah blah blah. Okay.
And if I see a poor review on whatever, but I see that the company has responded to that, I like to see that because it shows that the company is being preventative about that. They're actually actively trying to fix these problems instead of just only having good reviews or having a ton of bad reviews. Because again, nowhere is going to be perfect, but if they're trying to fix those problems, then I fully understand that, and I see that as a good thing.
Also on that though, that's like something that also I get when there's one or two of those reviews, they're like, hey, they fixed these problems, it happened, but they fixed it. Once it's like all of them are like that, it gets kind of like sketchy, I guess.
You get kind of numb to it.
Well, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they're gonna try to play me because that's what they've tried to do to all these people. And yeah, they cleaned it up after when they got called out, but like that's just stressful. I don't
Right. Yeah, I understand.
I want someone who's gonna treat me fairly from the beginning.
Do it right first.
Because like I know like contracts and stuff, like I read the contracts, I know what's promised, and like I expect you guys to uphold that, not try to get take advantage of it.
What do you think is the strongest recommendation for you guys? So like she said that if she trusts her friend about going anywhere or something like that, what do you think is something that like if you see or hear about it from here that you're dead set on that?
I'm more of a word of mouth person. I don't read reviews. I don't really check reviews unless it's very rare that I check reviews. But like I talk about things that I like, and if I hear about something I like, I'm more likely to try it.
Okay, but does from a specific person or just like in general? Because I know you're a pretty talkative guy. You like to talk to people.
Yeah.
So does it really matter who is telling you that? I know, of course it does. If some ex-convict is on his way to prison and he's like, Griffin, go try Sandro's Pizza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I feel like if a lot of people are talking about it, I would be like slightly more inclined.
So the amount of people would also have an effect on it.
It had quantity, but also quality. Like if a lot of
So
people
if it's like a lot of just shady people, maybe we're going there.
But like if the boys talk, they gotta go with the pals.
I'll make sure to let Callaway know that. Get the boys to talk.
Yeah, boys talking.
What about you guys? Any?
For me, I personally have never lived in an apartment complex in Norman, but I'm familiar with all of them. So I think it's to a point where you get to see enough of what the social aspect is, or when you go to the pool with your friends, or you go to the rooms. So talking more, if it's on a constant basis where your friend is, every time they see you, they're complaining about something about their apartment complex, versus inviting you over, I think this says a lot about their apartment complex, and just in general, like their overall satisfaction of how they bring up whenever they talk about their apartment complex.
For me, it also depends on the person's like taste and things. So if I know that my friend likes this kind of thing, and they give me their opinion on that, I'm gonna take that more to heart than if they gave it on something else, right?
Yeah, I have an aunt who every time she makes a food recommendation, we say, okay, we're never going there.
Yeah, exactly.
Good old Aunt Jen. Let's see. Let me look through my
I know in one aspect, like I know majority of apartment complexes struggle with one thing, and that's just repairs.
Okay.
Maintenance repairs. So if you're wanting to target the audience or student body in one way, that's like one key seller right there. Like, oh, we can fix our maintenance in like less than a few days. That's better than what majority of apartment complexes do put in now.
And
sorry. No,
and not that like apartments being move-in ready, because like every apartment advertised that, but like every apartment I've moved into, I've been in like 2 different places. The first time there was a lot of things broken and it had to be fixed, and it took a while. And then this year, the same thing happened, but not only that, like my whole stove was in my laundry room, like it just wasn't where it belonged. I was like,
It's driving faster right here.
and I was just so confused. But like, yeah, like it was like crooked against the wall too. It wasn't even flat on the ground. It was wild, but it's just like, I was like, not what y'all said it would be, basically.
It's mostly about, it's okay of having problems, it's the ability and how quickly you can react to it.
Okay.
So if they can immediately react to the situation, if it be majority of the time moving positively, then yes. Then they can market that as well.
Which, as an apartment, like as the owner of an apartment, is really, I'm very biased because I studied the progression of Callaway and I don't like it.
Interesting. Okay. We got a double agent here.
No, there was just, was it my sophomore year, was whenever they were building them, and from my insight, they were very rushed, so the quality of the apartments are not as they should be. But in general, like, if you're the owner of an apartment complex, you're subcontracting out everything in your business. So if you have a repair, you have a company for washers, you have a company for stoves, you have a company for hardware. So it's very difficult to have control over that because one, more than likely don't even see the people who are interacting whenever something happens. So as a company, you would be assessing who you are like hiring as a contractor to actually come and help and making sure that you see their reviews and like what their performance is before you actually decide to bring them on. Which I know in Callaway, some of the problems are like the walls are really, really thin. Like you can hear up, you can hear down, you can hear left, you can hear right. And so that starts in the very beginning with like how it was actually constructed. But in general, like they haven't done anything to progress it. Like there's a lot of acoustical things you could have already fixed. It's been 2 years since they've been open. So it's been very like slow progress.
I think they also market their cost of living more in the relation of the university versus how the cost of living is.
Okay.
To their price point, because I think they it's $700, right?
And you don't get parking, right?
Yeah.
You don't get a parking spot with Callaway.
I'm pretty sure you don't.
You don't get a parking spot with Callaway.
Not an individual.
Yeah.
They have the garage. That's about it.
And I heard the garage gets filled up too.
Yeah. I know people who have to take their car to Louisville on game days because you can't park at the deck on game days.
Right. So then, kind of bringing it back. You talked about maintenance,
Yeah.
and you said that that's a big thing for most places. You think.
Yeah.
So would you, if you had a maintenance problem, would you be more or less upset about it? Like, would you think from a standpoint like, oh my gosh, every single place has this, or would you think, okay, everyone has this?
Well, it's because like, I think partly the reason why it's even considered maintenance is because you have to maintain it, you know? At one point in time, it is gonna break down.
No, right, yeah.
And so I feel like knowing the idea of like, it is gonna break down, but it requires repair, it doesn't upset me. Because I know like at one point in time it's gonna give out. It's just a matter of getting it fixed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be upset if something breaks, because like you say, that kind of stuff happens. But depending on how they handle it is how I'm gonna view the situation. If they drag their feet the whole time, they take forever, then I'm gonna be pissed off at them. But if they just come fix it, I mean, that's great. I'm gonna be happy because I don't care that it broke, I just want it fixed.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a lot of these instances we're dealing with the business itself. So, I talked about what, at the very beginning, I asked you guys what you think a good business is. But I guess now since we're kind of honing in on apartment complexes, and it doesn't have to be apartment complexes, it's, you know, wherever you live.
Yeah.
What do you think would make that successful for you and you're already living there? So this is kind of excluding the amenities, this is excluding the things that you would be buying into. Now you bought it, you're living in there. What do you expect from then on?
I would just say effective communication. Like, because I'm in a house, so you know we rent it, and if your landlord doesn't answer or your landlord doesn't come by whenever he says he is, so more the accountability of having that back and forth connection.
What do you think the best way for that communication is?
I think it's a bit different. Well, I think a house is a lot more personal because you can literally just call the landlord. So I would just say, usually, if you call the maintenance office and they're not there, you can leave a message, but they're more than likely not going to get back to you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm done. Segue and body.
What is it? I was gonna say is like, which it can be easily like addressed if like there's multiple options to like have like communication, not just through like phone calls and like what messages. They can also create like a ticketing system where like people can submit a request and that can be assigned through dates and they can like assign contractors to those tickets.
Okay. So that's focusing more on a maintenance
Yeah,
perspective,
that's more
right?
of a
Yeah.
maintenance perspective.
Right.
I mean, it's, if you are looking, you can do the same thing for like an online submission for like comments, which I think was already addressed.
So yeah, so something, it kind of goes back to that like personal, that way they can kind of gatekeep, if you will, all of the things and get back to it to, you know, to keep that from happening.
Kind of going off of that, with the maintenance perspective of communication, I think it would be more helpful if more departments did have like more effective communication on when things will get done. Because like there
Okay.
is this line, but even the ones who are really efficient and get things done with maintenance quickly, it's still a question of, I don't know if this is gonna take 1 day or 2 weeks, because no one's talking to me, no one's telling me that. They're like, we'll get to it, but it doesn't actually, I don't know when someone's gonna be in my apartment. Like,
Okay, yeah, that's a big one.
there's also that, and that just makes me really uncomfortable, because I'm like, well, if I'm asleep, what if I'm doing something like
Mhm.
that I just don't notice, and then all of a sudden there's someone there, like,
And you know, it's never like, oh, there's a little scratch in my wall. It's like, hey, my dryer doesn't work and I need to wear clothes. So
Yeah.
it's always, you know, it's always something, you know, very important to you in your life. So you want to get like communication in there.
yeah.
I think for me, having everything in one place, because at my apartment complex, there's like a website they use for electricity, there's a website they use to submit like specific comments, there's a website for maintenance, and if everything is in one place, then you know exactly where you're going to get correspondence and who you need to contact with an issue.